it's like when you put a seed in the ground and you never put water, it's never grow. So this is why you the seed. If you put education every day, every single day, you know, you can be grow every day quickly. Great, that's great.
And Bass Brad, you wouldn't mind sharing. I know there's people in the stands here, and they hear the stories. They say, you hear Jose Aragon, you hear David Enrique, you hear Holton Ball, you hear the Edwin Haynes of the world. You're hearing people say, well, I'm communicating with these individuals on a daily basis. I'm being mentored by these individuals. And then you have people who are, maybe they're new in the industry. They're growing. They don't have that person, that champion, that they've earned that person's time just yet. And I know we've been around this industry, we've been in scenarios where we were not that person that had that mentor directly. I know you've been in that situation. What advice would you give people for those who are still in the process and developing that champion they relate with?
Absolutely. Well, I know a lot of people always ask, I need a mentor, I need someone to coach me. If I had that, I would succeed. And when I've been in this industry 14 years, and going through that process, as Francisco said, I was finding a lot of my mentors then were books that I read, because when I finally got that information from Think and Grow Rich, it became an obsession appetite. I became craving for the information. They say that when the student is ready, the teacher will come, and I was blessed that being in this industry and going and doing those things, pouring again, that I was blessed to have an individual that kept contacting me because he saw the growth. He saw that this individual had it, and that individual is none other than my sponsor, Crown Doc, Mr. David Emonitier.
And who do you have? You're mentoring a lot of people. What person are you looking for? What are the characteristics of a person that you're going to spend your time to help mentor, help coach, and speak to on a consistent basis?
Well, we always say that you want to give your time to people that deserve it, not the ones that need it, because following directions is a skill. A lot of people always say they want it, but yet when you find that teacher and they're giving you information, when they're giving you instructions, and you don't follow through, you'll see why they start to depart. I understood that very clearly. So I became very, very good at being a copycat. If you're out there wondering, well, how can I find someone? And right now, my sponsor, this. No. Once again, it's called personal development. It's talking about you. Okay? You have to go get the information as well. And when you're doing that, you're getting ready for the process, and that teacher does come, then now the next step, because they're going to give you instructions of what to do. And you got to be very good at following directions and not asking any questions. You say go up 5 steps and turn left, and we're going to throw the ball to you. You don't ask, well, what happens if the defender comes up? That's not what I told you. I told you, run up, turn left, and put the ball there. It's follow directions. It's a skill. And I was good at doing that. And I tell everybody out there, be very good at just listening. Quit to just listen. These individuals have what you want. And I never forget when I heard that when you want to become a millionaire, find one and do exactly what he says to do, and don't ask him questions.
Thank you, Sharon. With a new diamond that breaks on the stage, if you wouldn't mind sharing your name and where you're from.
Hi, I'm Jesus Walker Dominguez from Mexico. En este caso, voy a pedir a mi amigo Jorge del Alma, Alberto Reyes, si me puedes traducir, por favor.
Okay, let me translate. He said, my name is Jesus Walker Dominguez from Tijuana, Mexico.
Awesome. And Jesus, obviously a lot of momentum going on in the Mexico marketplace. What are some key things that you see is happening in Mexico that's causing the momentum that's happening there in Mexico?
Jesús, hay bastante momentum en México. ¿Qué es lo que tú ves? ¿Cuál es la razón por la cual el momentum está pasando en México?
Perfecto. Definitivamente, primero tenemos que agradecer a los grandes líderes visionarios que hicieron esto posible, al señor Bernie Chua, Jim Moran, Colton Bobs.
We definitely have to thank the leadership, first of all, Mr. Colton Bobs, Shane Moran, and Bernie Chua.
Quienes tuvieron la visión y la decisión de llevar estos tesoros a México, realmente estamos muy felices por lo que está pasando. ¿Por qué es el éxito en México? Definitivamente definitivamente estamos modelando lo que está pasando aquí. Gracias a ustedes que nos pusieron en el camino, estamos empezando a creer.
You know, all we have to do is follow the vision that they had, and thank God that they had the vision in Mexico. And all we're doing is modeling what the U.S. is doing, and we started to believe that it's possible in Mexico, and that's what's happening for them.
Definitivamente lo más importante, y lo hemos aprendido nuestros líderes, es tener tu nivel de creencia lo más alto posible, seguir el sistema y trabajar todas tus decisiones como líder. A veces van a ser sencillas, a veces difíciles, pero todas pasan por el filtro de los valores. Porque tú puedes tener libertad financiera, pero si no eres esclavo aquí o aquí, no va a pasar nada.
You know, first of all, we have to follow instructions. We have to follow instructions, and some instructions are going to be easy, some of them are not going to be that easy, but you just have to follow them. And one of the things we've learned from the leadership is to have our belief system as high as possible. And even if you have financial freedom, if you're not free from your mind or your heart, you're still a slave.
Okay. All right. I still got to do this one for Pastor Pam, and then we good.
Black Diamond in 10 months. You didn't bring a team over, so you obviously went to work. What kind of activity is required? I know we talk about the 2020 plan. 20 on your left, 20 on your right. How fast did you do the 2020 plan, and what kind of activity did you actually do to maintain that and grow an organization of that size to $1 million a month in revenue?
Well, first of all, I remember coming to Project 50,000, 29th, 30th, and 31st of May of 2011. And I remember seeing all the leadership and learning from them. I told myself at that point in time, if I came here, I came to make something happen. I just didn't came to socialize, maybe have a party or just, waste the time. And before the activity, I always say the mentalities. First mentalization, then emotionalization, and then the activation. Because it has to go in that certain way. I had to create it in my mind that it was possible going Black Diamond. But at the beginning, it just seemed really hard. I mean, it just seemed really far. Once the mind was able to conceive it, and through repetition of, being so happy and grateful now that I'm a Black Diamond, and it took me 30 days to literally just get into that harmony, into that development of the mindset. I mean, how can you believe that you can go to $1 million a month when you don't have a team that is coming over to you? When you have to start it from scratch? And, remember going into an event and seeing Mr. Oldenbugs, and he said something. He said, "What is your success commercial?" Because he says all the corporate companies have their success commercial that they play on TV that makes you buy. And that shocked me out. That I remember going back to my mentor and saying, "Can you tell Mr. Holden that if he does this training again, I will bring a bus. I don't know how, but I'll bring a bus." And he, because if he had an impact in my mind, I know that it would have an impact for everybody else, right? So it was conditioning first on the mind. I took it to the emotion, and then I heard Mr. Holden saying, "I don't know yet." And this is not to make him complain, but he said, until today, I can tell you that I don't know someone that can make 1,000 presentations in 1 year and not earn a 7-figure income a year. And it was we were there about 1,700 people. And I asked myself, out of this 1,500 to 1,700 people, who is it really going to make it happen? And I said, it's got to be me.
So let me ask you a question. You talked about the mindset. It took some time to get to a point where you actually believe. There's people leaving out of this event today with incredible promotion going on. What kind of activity do you suggest people do? How do they balance the personal development and the activity coming out of this event to maximize what's going on right now?
Well, Project 50,000, I was going back to it and what I actually did so that people get the experience. I tell people, information, you get it everywhere, but knowledge and wisdom You got to. And in order to get it. I remember what I did in Project 50,000, my very first, I called my very first people, and I told them, do you trust me? Told loud, trust me. Listen, I just started a project. It's a multi-million-dollar, billion-dollar project. You know, get me your credit card. I'm going to position you, and that's how we got started. For the close people, you know, you got to take immediate action when things of this nature happen. And it's got to be an urgent matter. Because if you don't have, if you are the one, you know, I remember coming to the first event and I had to stay, I had to share the room. I had to share the room with other people. And I know that many people are sharing the room with other people. So you got to take action. You know, you got to listen.
We'll play
You got to get that list. And take action. I mean, you know, so what I started doing was calling the close friends and just telling them, get positioned. So there were a few people that really close people, really warm market that never did anything, but that now they're starting to do something. But it was at least to get started. It was at least so that, hey, if I see a promotion, I better do something. If I don't do something knowing what's about to happen, then what is it that I came for?
Absolutely, absolutely. So we get into activity mode. Awesome. Alberto, I know a lot of people out there, a lot of young men, a lot of young women who are in this industry. They see it, they get started. I remember being 18 in this industry. I remember being in a position where you have people who are older than me, people who are more established. You're a young man, and you've had a process in this industry. How do you deal with being a young man and going out there and actually mentoring people maybe twice your age, or even attracting people to your business that are professionals or may have more experience in this industry or in business in general?
Wow, that's a question I get asked at least 2 or 3 times a week, and I'm glad you asked me this. You know, one of the things you gotta understand is that it's not about you. This business is not about you. I remember when I got started, I was 20 years old when I got started in the industry. And one of the things I used to try to do, because it never happened, was to have people follow me. But I was 20 years old. My car, I had an amazing car, 2 colors, black and rusted. People couldn't see me as a leader. So what you got to do is you got to have your mentor in the middle of everything. And what I used to say is, hey, a friend of mine, I have a friend that's very, very successful. And he asked me to keep an eye open for people that look successful. You look successful to me. He's expanding a business. I'm assisting him. And I would love to get you guys together because I know you can do some great things together. And that's how I used to do it. And that's exactly how I did it with Mr. Alone. You know, he flew out to California. I got a bunch of people. As a matter of fact, I worked for about a month and a half. The very first meeting, I can't even count them. It was just me by myself the first time. Because nobody believed me, right? The second time it was 9 people. Out of those 9 people, my mom and dad signed up. You know, and a couple more people. But that's the way you do it, though. You get yourself out of the way. Forget that you're the leader. I know there's leaders out here that are 20, 21 years old, 19-year-old leaders, and I know you guys are out there. But you have to get yourself out of the way. Just get yourself out of the way. Forget that you're the leader now. Get your mentors, your leaders to be in front of the leading charts, and then when your results come, they will follow you for your results. They won't even ask you anything because your result will speak out for them.
Awesome. And obviously you're an eloquent speaker, you graced the stage, incredible training. Were you born? Was it just something that out of the womb you were just a great presenter?
That's funny you asked me that. You know, the very first time I presented an opportunity, I was 20 years old, and I went in front of the room. There was about 5 people in the room. My coach at that time asked me to do the presentation. I said no. He let me go, once. The second time, He said he was going to let me go. He said, don't worry, you'll do the next one. But he started edifying me. So without me knowing, I was like, who's going to present? So he was edifying me. So he mentions my name. I go in front of the room with a cup of water. And I remember doing the presentation. It was about a 20-minute presentation. I probably finished it in about 5. You know? It was a 5-minut thing. I got off and I said, hey, you know, I introduced him again. You know, long story short, we got out of the building and I said, how did I do? He said, oh, that was amazing. That was pretty good. I mean, nobody signed up, but it was good, right? And I said, well, thank you. He said, yeah, just next time, don't take the cup of water with you because you could see the cup and the water shaking. You could see the water shaking, right? So, to answer your question, is absolutely not. This is something you have to develop. It's personal growth. It's development. It's not something that's just going to happen. You got to work it.
Person you were taking care of and now we're in front of thousands of people around the world. So we appreciate you sharing that. So many people will have to overcome that as well. On the flip side, Carl Thompson, you were a businessman. You investigated businesses. You